Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to look at the topic, what happened to Wanda? And to be able to discuss that, however, we do need to discuss spoilers from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So if you haven't seen that movie, what are you waiting for? Go see it. It's awesome. But if you're still watching, then I'm assuming you're okay with spoilers from that movie. And so let's dive right into what on earth happened to Wanda. And what I mean by that is, when we left her at the end of WandaVision, she was, realized the error of her ways. She shut down the hex. She tried to repair whatever damage she could. And then she went off to be alone and to just try to figure out life from that point forward. So basically a grieving mom. So how do we go from a grieving mom to someone who's killing sorcerers in Camartage and trying to capture America Chavez to steal her powers, which would kill her in the process, and of course, just obliterating the Illuminati? That is a pretty jarring transition if you're not ready for it. I mean, you go from grieving mom to outright villain. And you could argue the movie doesn't do a lot to help you process that. It's assuming that you're just ready for it. So for some people, it didn't make sense. Maybe it was a little jarring. So let's look at what happened. Well, an obvious answer is the Darkhold. I mean, clearly anybody that reads the Darkhold, as we saw with Agatha Harkness, can be corrupted and turned evil. Then you add the fact that there's literally a chapter in the Darkhold devoted to the Scarlet Witch. So theoretically, the power of the Darkhold to manipulate the Scarlet Witch and to control it, to control her, is even more powerful than for a regular person. But honestly, that's still not enough. The real question is how long Wanda spent looking at the Darkhold. When we look at that, then things become really clear. So let's look at a brief timeline. It's important to start with Endgame. Endgame was in 2023, we know, and the ending of the movie was, near the end of the year, so we'll go with October of 2023. Now, WandaVision picks up just 2 weeks later, November of 2023, as Wanda goes in to S.W.O.R.D. and discovers what had happened to Vision, realizes there's just nothing there, he is gone, and she is obviously overcome by her grief. She creates the Hex in Westview. And then finally, by the end of WandaVision, she goes off on her own, and she begins reading the Darkhold. Now, it's not clear on this ending scene exactly how long after WandaVision it occurs, but we'll call it late 2023 because it probably wasn't long after the series ended. So keep that in mind. Late 2023, she begins looking at the Darkhold. Now, then we jump forward to November of 2024, which is when Spider-Man No Way Home wrapped up, probably October, November 2024. We know that because Far From Home, the movie right before it, picked up in the summer of the year after Endgame. So therefore, No Way Home picked up after that, and as you can even tell by the trees in the background, the leaves have all turned, they've mostly fallen out, so we're talking, October, November of 2024. Then if you look at Multiverse of Madness, that picked up, within maybe a couple days, maybe a week afterwards. I mean, it's interesting. Look at the trees in the background. I guess it could be an accident, but Marvel had them filmed with, they're already turned and mostly fallen out. So it looks like this movie happens pretty close after No Way Home. So process that for a second. That means Wanda has been reading the Darkhold for a year or close to it. A year. I mean, it would take over just about anybody that picked it up and read it, and she has been looking into its secrets and delving into its darkness for a year. Then, if you think about other tragic characters that have been manipulated, look no further than Wenwu in the Shang-Chi movie. The Dweller in Darkness basically manipulated him into thinking that his wife, that he could rescue his wife, and he was willing to attack and kill anyone that got in his way, including his own son, all on his mission to rescue his wife, which was all a lie. In a similar fashion, the Darkhold lied and manipulated to Wanda. If you remember at the end of WandaVision, she heard her kids crying out, "Help me, help me, help me." Well, that would lead any mother to just go on a rampage to try to rescue them, to go to any extent to save her kids. Then when she realizes at the end of the movie that they aren't in danger, they're in a loving family, and if anything, she's the reason. Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, is the reason that they're screaming, "Help me!" To get away from her. That jars her out of the hold the Darkhold, had over her, long enough for her to destroy the Darkhold and seemingly destroy herself. Although I think we can assume she's not dead. If you don't see the body, she's not dead. But when you realize all of this, when you realize how long she used the Darkhold and how manipulative it was to her, then it's not quite so jarring, this transition. In fact, it makes a lot of sense. So I also have some other videos I've done on Marvel timelines. You can see those and watch those if you'd like. Obviously, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to this video. And in the meantime, I hope you continue to enjoy the ever-expanding, ever-popular Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thank you so much for watching.